Hello, I'm Sophia Parola with Garden State Film Festival, and I am here with the people behind the making of the short film Sins. I'm so happy to talk to you guys today. Hello.
Hi.
I would love for everyone, before we get started with the interview, to just introduce yourselves and the titles in your film, and something a little new of where we're filming from, because I know that a lot of us are Italian, I believe. So let's,
Yes.
I'm curious to where everyone is right now. So Ilaria, why don't we start off with you?
You said my name perfectly. So Ilaria Malvezzi. I'm actually in New York City, although I'm from Italy. And I'm the writer and producer of Sins. And I lead the actress. I played Nina.
Yes, and you're wonderful. And I'm seeing Casey next.
Yes, hi, I'm Casey. I'm Casey Hartnett. I play Annabelle. I'm calling from Brooklyn as well. So, yeah. And I play Annabelle, who is Ilaria's daughter in the movie.
Thank you guys so much. I'm not far away from you guys. Very cool. And next, how about Jeremiah?
Hey, I'm Jeremiah Kipp. I'm the director of Sins, and I live in Astoria, New York.
Love it. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Giovanni.
Giovanni Spinelli. I'm another one of those Italians who live in New York. I'm not Ilaria's son in the film. I'm the composer.
Oh, guys, it is so great to have you all here. I really thought one of you in Italy right now, and I was like, how cool is that? But New York's awesome too. I am so excited to talk to you guys today. I had the pleasure of watching Sins. I was like so engrossed to just watch every single minute, not only hearing it, but just watching it. It was such a beautiful film. So I can't wait to talk to you all. I first would love for Ilaria, as writer, for you to give a little synopsis about what this film is about for all of our viewers.
Well, it's a love story, an uncontrollable passion. I live with my daughter in the countryside of New York, and I'm an immigrant. We're in the 60s. And my daughter brings home her new boyfriend, an Italian, handsome and charming boy, Marco. And I fell in love madly with him. And so we start a very dangerous affair. Yes. no spoilers.
Very intriguing description. I love that. And Ilaria, my first question will just be right directed to you. What was your inspiration for writing this film? And in this question, being, the lead actress, what was it like to perform the words that you have written? Was it kind of, while you're writing, you imagined exactly who the character was, so it was easy to jump in? Or like, what was that whole process as writer and actress?
Yes, I think when you write your own material, it's always immediate, the jumping in the skin. As I write, I'm already in the same skin of everybody, of every character. So there's a familiarity and a belonging from the start. Of course, then it is, magnified by working with Jeremiah and Casey and Marco. The inspiration, I love stories of women that they don't fit, and to not fit society today is different than in the 60s. So Nina is a woman who doesn't belong, doesn't fit. She's unapologetic, and she's very instinctive. She's impulsive, and I love her inability to judge like everybody else does. She follows completely her instinct and her desires without asking any permissions.
I love that. And you mentioned Jeremiah. So my next question is for you, Jeremiah. How did you come onto this project? And as director, and I'm familiar with your work, I'm a big fan, and this film in particular is just so beautiful. I'd love to know, what was your experience directing this film? And there's so many, this film has such a, a vintage style, and the black and white and the beautiful location. I would love just to pick your brain about how you guys came up with this beautiful style and the shots and everything when it comes to directing, Jeremiah.
Well, I love working with Ilaria. We've worked together for several years now. So when she asked me to do it, it was like a hand fitting into a glove. The uncomfortable passion that she's writing about, and these characters who are stepping on these raw nerves, even as they're falling in love, that just had a resonance and a complexity for me. I thought all of the characters were deadly and interesting, and I kind of fell in love with all of them. And I felt like for a story that is that tempestuous, we wanted to tell it in a very classical style. So set in the 1960s motivated our choice of black and white. Dominic Civilli, the director of photography, and I were thinking about older films, like films made by great Italian filmmakers like Pasolini or like earlier Fellini, and like going in that way. So it's like, and that frames it as if it were an old story, even though the embroiled passions and stepping on taboos of the characters is unnerving and contemporary.
So interesting. So we are familiar with working with each other. So this wasn't a new partnership. This was kind of something that was easy to slip right into. Ilaria and Jeremiah.
An old partnership.
Yes. I think this is our 10th project together. And when I wrote it, I only wanted Jeremiah. Like there was nobody else in my mind. Yes.
Oh, I love that. I love these amazing collaborations. And Casey, I mean, what was it like for you playing the daughter, playing the love interest? There's so many, so many things were going on in this film with you. What attracted you to your character, and what was a little bit about the character development that you went through?
Yeah, I always love characters who have, I think Annabelle has a lot of layers to her, as Ilaria's character and Marco as well have to them, Nina and Marco. But and I think it's not as obvious at first. So that's something I liked about Annabelle as well, is, she seems very conservative. She's going to church every week and going on church retreats and things like that, and having this very innocent quality about her, but there's a layer underneath her that is a bit more aware of things than is originally thought. So I think that the layers of Annabelle were very attractive to me, and also the relationship with her mother. I think that it's very complicated, but at the end of the day, I think there's a protection of one another that's very present between the two characters. So yeah, that I would liked all the complexities of all of these characters. So
absolutely, there was so much layers. And Casey, how did you find out about this project? Was this the first time working with Ilaria? And what was it like working with this crew?
Well, it was wonderful working with this crew. Everyone was so great and communicative and just very respectful of one another. It was a great environment. But Ilaria, Marco, and I all met at our acting studio. We all actually trained at the same acting studio, the William Esper studio. So, and that was what, like 4 or 5 years ago now?
4 years ago we graduated. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So so we had known each other, but we hadn't actually worked on anything together outside of class yet. So it was fun to kind of get back together and explore this project together after knowing each other for 4-ish years.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so amazing. And it's interesting that you guys all went to like the acting school together, because you could tell the way you all like communicate and listen and respond. It's very natural. So I'm not sure if that has to do with the studio or just your wonderful talents and craft individually, but such an amazing collaborative like cast, honestly. And Giovanni, I don't know the first thing when it comes to composing music, especially for a film. Like if you watch the film, if you're working with a director, like what is the process of making such beautiful music and art for films in general, but then this film in particular? What was it like for you?
Well, the first step is getting hired by such talented people as these. It's because it makes the job easy, right? You're just, what the advice I tend to give film composers is forget your composer, forget you're writing a piece of music, because that can be very get in the way of things. You want to get into, we've been talking about the storyline and the passions and how the story develops, but and that's all very well at a intellectual level. The music comes in at a different level, and you want to perceive the story in essence as a whole. So I like to have this beautiful cinematography, these beautiful interpretations kind of flitting around in my studio and absorbing them. You want to almost learn the film rather than actually, oh, okay, now I'm going to write a piece of music. So you let it seep in. And the key here in this was to find the right balance between undoubtedly the passion of the characters and the story, right, that is very intense, and the subtlety that's required for you not to step all over that. So you just let it decant, and you muddle around, and eventually come to something that Jeremiah can live with, and Ladia gets excited about, and feel lucky it works.
Wow.
Giovanni, can you talk about, because you had to do a very particular challenge in one scene,
yes,
which was that the characters listen to the radio, right, and there's a pop song from 1960 that plays on the radio. Now, obviously, we didn't license the rights to a 1960s pop song, so how did you tackle that, Giovanni?
And we started trying to capture the mood of the era and the beginning of this love story, and we just started collaborating at a distance. Of course, she's in the city as well, but it just so happens it's much more fluid that way. And we eventually came to a song that we thought worked in the scene and was authentic sounding enough. It sounds like it's coming from the radio because the protagonist turns it on, and it kind of worked.
Oh, okay. Your audio was popping a little bit, but I just want to make it clear. So you guys imitated this song to make it sound like it was from 1960s pop, or
no? We wrote. Can you hear me well? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yeah, I'm so sorry,
Okay.
Giovanni.
Not at all. What I'm saying is that we wrote an original song that sounded as though it were from the era, and then our Evan Joseph, our sound guy, then made it sound even more as if it were coming from the radio in the room as opposed to the recording one we normally expect to hear.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is so amazing. That's so amazing. And the way you describe the music and with your hands, you can just tell it's such a beautiful craft. Like it's
Italiani.
Yeah.
So I just have like two last questions. We're wrapping up in the last 3 minutes, but I really want to ask these two important questions. The first one is kind of Ilaria and Jeremiah. There's some really beautiful, intimate scenes in this short film, obviously with the exposed bodies, which I love to see, but as an actor that could, I don't know how that is for you, but I would assume it would be a little challenging or at sometimes intimidating. And as a director, so what is that balance that you have to create filming those intimate scenes, Ilaria being the subject and Jeremiah directing these scenes? I would love to ask you guys about that.
Do you want to start, Jared?
Yeah, I think you can only do scenes like that when you trust one another. Ilaria and I have built a foundation of trust with each other. I would never ask Ilaria I would never ask any actor to do anything that they don't want to do. And at the same time, when you're approaching a project like this, you also want to be really clear. You want to say, like, these are the kinds of scenes that we're doing. Let's be fearless. Let's really present the human condition, and let's present it warts and all. Let's present it fearlessly. Let's present it bravely. Marco and Ilaria knew each other. They also trusted each other. And the scenes, shooting those scenes were no different than any other scene, it felt like to me. It felt like they were playing characters in these given circumstances who were experiencing all these complicated feelings with one another. And I thought it was really extraordinary work. I was extremely proud of them as actors, and I was really honored that Ilaria trusted me to direct those scenes, because it was a story that felt personal to Ilaria, personal to me, personal to the director of photography, Dominic Civilli, all of us had a deep investment in the material. So I think that's what enabled us to do scenes of this nature. Ilaria, what would you say?
Yeah, what you said, there is a trust in between Jeremiah and I that never made me feel comfortable in any situation, any circumstances. And, you are actress as well. So when you're in the moment, you live the moment in that exact moment, everything else disappears. So I was making love to the man I loved. I make love naked. So I never had any issues with nudity, and I knew, again, the trust of Dominic and Jeremiah, they would make it look beautiful and not vulgar anyhow. So I think they capture the passion in a very elegant but real way. So
yes, I absolutely agree.
Mm-hmm.
It really was so beautiful. It was gorgeous the way you guys went about that, and the whole film as a whole, but especially those intimate scenes. So I commend you all. My last question, very quickly, but very important. Why Garden State Film Festival? I mean, what does it mean having Sins premiere at Garden State? And how'd you hear about us? Jeremiah, I know that, this isn't your first rodeo with Garden State, but I'd love just to hear why Sins should get Garden State.
Well, I feel like I've always, I know that when I've attended the festival in the past, I always really appreciated the audience that goes to Garden State. I felt like that it was impeccable programming, that it was done all in exceptional taste. I loved the blocks. And I thought that the Q&As were incredibly sensitive and intelligent, as they are right now. So as I said when I was talking about the other film that I have screening here, it felt a lot like coming home. You always want to go to the film festival that is so respectful of filmmakers and audiences. So I'm incredibly grateful and hope to continue submitting films to Garden State Film Festival.
Wonderful. I mean, wonderfully said. I'm so sorry if I'm cutting anyone off. We just have to wrap up this, but it kills me to do so because I love talking to you guys, but we've got such wonderful words and energy in this interview. I couldn't be happier. So thank you guys. Congratulations.
You're amazing.
Again.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
Quickly,
doing amazing.
How we could watch Sins, because I want to make sure everyone watching knows how we can see this beautiful premiere, because it definitely is a film worth watching. It is so inspirational, so beautiful. It will be premiering at Berkeley Hotel in the Johnny and June room Saturday, the 27th, in the film block, 6:45 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So I hope it's a great turnout. We could watch it in person or virtual for everyone out there. And yes, congratulations again, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
So, are you staying only for the summer?
I have to go to college in Boston, but I'll come back anytime I can to visit my family and to visit Annabelle, of course.
She really likes you. But I can see why. Be careful, boy. She's made of crystal. She shreds.